Hi there, I'm Rose Jacobs here with you for Kalkinemedia. Today we're going to look at what is the European Union, but first make sure you press the bell icon for all the latest updates here on Kalkine. The European Union is the product of the European countries' political and economic collaboration. It comprises of 27 member states who are bound by the obligations and also the privileges that come with this membership. The EU Charter of Fundamental Rights and also the Lisbon Treaty, on the other hand, outline the EU's values and objectives. Each member state is a signatory to the Union's founding treaties and is subject to binding laws enacted by the Union's judicial and legislative authorities. All member states need to agree in unanimity for the EU to enact foreign affairs and defence policy. The European Union was formed at the end of the Second World War. Several Western European nations strived for more comprehensive economic, social and political connections to achieve that economic progress and military protection. However, the aim also was to assist France and Germany to reach a long-term accord. So what does the EU represent? Well, the EU is made up of a slew of distinct bodies negotiating intergovernmental deals in various fields, including law and economics. According to the 2009 Treaty of Lisbon, the EU's structure undergoes a significant number of changes. Furthermore, tentative discussions for a European regional union commenced back in 1948 following World War II to bolster stability and economic collaboration among member nations. The EU has formed the single market through a defined set of laws that apply to its member nations. These types of policies are designed to guarantee that capital, individuals, services and commodities can freely flow between member nations. The EU is a group of nations that function as a single economic entity in the global economy and a unified political and economic bloc. 19 EU nations use the euro as their official currency. Furthermore, the EU arose from a desire to build a single European political body to put an end to a century of struggle between nations in Europe, which culminated in the Second World War, and that devastated most of the continent. So what are the European Union's core values? A community characterised by inclusiveness, tolerance, justice, solidarity and non-discrimination. EU values are embraced by all EU nations. Moreover, these values have always existed in European culture. Human rights. The EU Charter of Fundamental Rights safeguards human rights, and these include the rights to be free of discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender, culture or religion, race or ethnic origin, age or handicap, and the right of access to justice and protection of personal data. Human dignity. Now this is precious and it must be guarded, upheld and cherished because it is the proper foundation of fundamental rights. And then there's liberty. Citizens have the right to freely migrate and dwell within the Union under freedom of movement. Furthermore, the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights protects personal liberties like freedom of thought, respect for privacy, assembly, freedom of religion, data and expression. Then there's equality. That implies that all citizens enjoy equal rights under the law. Gender equality is a fundamental value that drives all European policies and serves as the foundation for European integration. It applies to all regions, and while inequalities do persist, the EU has achieved meaningful progress. And democracy. The EU's operation is based on representative democracy. Being a European citizen also entails exercising political rights. Each adult EU citizen has the right to compete for and vote in the European Parliament elections. They might run for office and vote in either their home nation or their birth nation. The rule of law. The European Union is built on the rule of law, and whatever the EU does is built on treaties that its member countries democratically and spontaneously agreed to. An independent judicial system upholds the rule of law and justice. The EU nations have delegated final authority to the European Court of Justice, whose verdicts must be obeyed by everyone. And that's it for today. If you like what you've learned, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and go to kalkinemedia.com for all our latest. I'm Rose Jacobs and I'll see you next time.